Can we just myth bust that while we were talking about that one?
No, I think people see support workers down the street, or doing the groceries with someone, or sitting having a coffee, and that's fantastic. That's the job that I want to do. That's so easy. But then when they get into it and they realise there's personal cares, you'd be surprised the number of support workers that can't cook. But
Yes.
there's personal cares, there's showering people, there's managing behaviours, there's cooking, there's encouraging participants to cook with you. It's not about doing it for them.
Yes.
It's about doing it with them. So, you might have the participants that sits back and goes, oh, well, I pay you, you do it.
Yes.
Actually, no, I'm paid to encourage you to live a better life.
Yes.
So this is how I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to encourage you to keep your space clean and hygienic, and I'm going to encourage you by helping you learn to cook. I'm going to encourage you by, helping you shower properly, toilet properly, those things. It's not all about just, and when you do get that chance to actually go and have a coffee and sit for a few minutes and think, oh, that's great. It can be difficult sometimes to have the general public go, oh, look at them, they're just sitting around. That's not always the case.
Or the other one I've heard is, you must be such an angel. Well, yes, for some people they're an angel, but at the end of the day it is a job, and people, and the support worker can get burnt out, frustrated, tired.
Yes.
So I'm going to do a PSA, especially coming up to celebration season, because I know I've got a lot of diverse people watching the channel. Check in on your caregivers, whether they're paid, unpaid. Check in on them, because they don't get a break over Christmas. So there will be some people in our community who will be spending Christmas, New Year's Day with their support worker. That might be the only person that they see in the day.
Yes, that is true. And those support workers are not with their family, they're with the participants, because that's their job. That's their job to be there, during those times. And Christmas is hard. Christmas is hard for a lot of people. A lot of people have lost people during the year, or they don't have family that come and see them. They're on their own. It's really important. And I know support workers that have just dropped in to see participants, and it's kind of outside the professional boundaries, I suppose, if you want to go there. But they've just dropped in to see them to ensure that they're okay, because they know that they're on their own for that day, and it's not easy. And so having those great support workers around, it's essential for people. It really is important.
And touching on the documentation, I know in one of my organisations, people actually have to stay back because there were some people who were leading down the team who they were doing them on a mobile phone, and makes it easier because people who might have English as a second or even third language can do it as a note, dictate it.
Yeah.
But some people weren't doing it, so they've had to go back to paper notes. And that's where we're saying documentation and even communication is so important as well.
And communication. And look, not everybody's designed to work together the same as everybody's, participant and support worker and support worker and support worker. Look, you're not meant to get along with everybody. That's just how it is. That's life.
Yes.
If you do get a good team that all work together and pull together, fantastic. Good on you for having that. But quite often we'll have a clash in personalities, either with staff with staff with participants. And again, that's where the open communication is so important, where,
and not
participants are able to say, I'm really annoyed with you today, I really don't like you. And it's like, and the support worker can also say, well, you're annoying me today too. Why are we annoying each other so much? Like, what's going on here? And just to be open and with each other without the element of nastiness, but just to be open and honest. And it's really hard, but people aren't used to doing it. We're not in a society anymore that's used to talking to each other.
No. And I'm finding it difficult to pick up the phone. I prefer to text or group chat people, which I'm really, really working on.
Mm.
And I don't know where that's come from.
But we all have times, like even with my job, I have times where, the conflict management is just, some days it's just too hard. And you just go, wow, I just don't want to do this today. But, you got to suck it up and do it. But society now is so driven by phones and electronics and like you say, Andrea, it's about texting or emailing rather than just talking on the phone and going, okay, well, this, I'm not happy about this. We need to get this fixed. Sometimes that can go on for 6 months by text because you're not
communicating.
The communication isn't as it should be.
And I think as people with a disability, and I am grateful for my first boss, Gareth, I know you watch the channel, shout out, thank you, who actively taught me not active listening, but the next level, listening to understand. So you've got your listening to respond, your active listening, and then you're listening to understand, because sometimes it's simply people are annoyed and people will talk your ear off because they've had no one to talk to all day.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in the day outdoor for an evening shift, they're at you. Yeah. So one of the strategies I know support workers do is, well, okay, if you're upstairs, can you put the washing on? Can you fold up the washing? That's how a normal house would work.
And with still homes, I mean, it's the participant's home. It's, as a support worker, it's your workplace, but it's the participant's home. And I often find what we do at home in our own homes is every home has a different culture. I mean, we talk about culture as in, are you Christian? Are you Islam? Are you, South African? Are you English? Are you this? Are you that? It actually comes right back down to what actually happens in each individual house. Every household has its own culture. And that's something that, support workers have to put aside what they do at home and how they manage at home, because they can be, they can buzz around home and do things really quickly. When you step into a participant's home, it's about slowing that down and going, okay, we need to do this at participant pace. If they want to buzz around, fine, let's go with that. If they want to take that bit of extra time, or they need that extra time in order to comprehend what you're saying, you might need to slow your instructions down. You might need to, when you're encouraging them to cook, you it's not about, I'll do it, it'll be quicker.
Yeah.
No, it's not about that. It's about them learning and extending, and all the time you've got to be, have your patient hat on and think, okay, I need to slow myself down and go to where the participant's at. Let's be on that level.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to bring yourself up to their level. Believe me, sometimes it's like, wow, okay, this is where we're at today.
I've had that one with a support worker and I who we sit, she's doing her NDIS compliance modules while I'm editing the YouTube, I'm writing a blog, or doing some study. That's role modelling good behaviours. What do you do on the weekend once the house is done?
Yeah.
It might be binge watching the Bluey Fest, but it might also
be... It might be going for a walk. It could be just going for ice cream at somewhere else. It could be just, it's about what the participant wants to do. Yes, there's choice and control, but it's about, making that work for them and having the quality that they need in their lives.
And I do know, I heard this, and I have full consent from both the support team and parents to say this, that there's a client that's in close, let's say, proximity to me, who, when they come for an evening shift, has been taught that you make them a cup of tea or coffee. It might be 4:00 in the afternoon, but the support workers will drink it because that's her way of saying thank you. That's their way of welcoming to the house. It's taken her, I think, a year to have the concentration to make a cup of coffee. And it's the equivalent of answering a phone to a 2-year-old. What do
that's
you
good.
do when a 2-year-old hands you a Fisher Price toy phone?
Yeah, that's right.
You answer it.
You answer it. That's exactly right.
Um,
It's just what you do.
And guys, yes, I am over caffeinated. If you haven't noticed by now. And yes,
She's got the buzz on.
I do. Like documentation and just
Yeah.
being on the participants level. And we've got to also remember in that with documentation that sometimes the participant can be your best friend with documentation, because me being in pharmacy, I had a client, a support worker, not know how to spell a really rare medication. I knew the exact website.
Yeah.
It saved her about half an hour of doom scrolling.
Yeah. Never doubt what your participant might know.
Yeah, and they've had to learn, because I have hypersensitive hearing, so they've had to learn to do handovers in the garage, because there's some things that, as a client, you just don't want to know.
No, that's right.
Sometimes ignorance
And
is
you don't need to know. You know, and that's the thing. You know, and that's between staff, and that's, you know, but it's, you know, the documentation is important to have there to build a good file for the participants to be able to work better with them, to give them better quality life. So that's what it's all about. Let's do the best we can to give them the best quality life.
Yes. Guys, I will see you guys in the next video, because I'm very aware of Deb's time.
Yeah, I've got to go.
Hey guys, editing Andrea. So that was part 2 of the video as well. Guys, we touched on some really important points there. So if you're a support worker or a person with a disability, drop it in the comments below what your thoughts are on that conversation that we had. And you can see why we made the decision after recording that to split that into 2 videos as well. And guys, Deb will be a recurring guest on the channel depending on her times and her caseloads as well. And so that's the thing, is that support work isn't an easy job as well. Guys, please come on, if you can like, share, comment, and subscribe, because guys, 70% of you guys who are returning to the channel aren't subscribed. So guys, that really helps me to be seen.